Hey, welcome to class. I'm Ree, this is Drake and Burley. If you're returning to the channel, it's great to have you back, and if you're new, welcome. This is Yoga Basics, the third class that we've put together. The aim of the Yoga Basics classes is really just to make sure that we prepare you to go into yoga classes, whether that's beginner or mixed ability. But it might be worth you doing the first two classes before you do this one, only because if we've covered anything in those two classes, I won't break them down as much in this class. You don't need any props for this session, you just need yourself and a mat or something you can work on. So let's begin. Come to sit cross-legged. If that's really uncomfortable, then just sit with the butt on the heels and sit on the shins. But if you can, start to sit cross-legged. There's a lot of cross-legged sitting in yoga, and even if it starts to feel a little bit discomfortable, initially it's worth just working at it and just keep doing it. Over time, that tension will release and you won't feel so tense sitting in the posture. We're not going to be here for very long in this seat, so come to whatever version of the cross-legged sitting you can. Relax the shoulders down, so lift them up towards the ears for a moment and then send them down. That's just going to drop the shoulder blades back down the back body. The hands can just go into your lap or on the thighs, whatever you want. We're just going to spend a few moments to start to bring ourselves into yoga mode in the practice. Closing down the eyes. Sit nice and tall here. Visualize yourself sitting where you are on your mat. Visualize the skeleton. So if you pull away at everything, the skin, muscles, just imagine your skeleton sat here and visualize the spine. It's got natural curves in it. At the top of the back, the thoracic, and then at the bottom of the back, the lumbar. It's curvy throughout, and just try and sit nice and tall so that those curves are given integrity. So we're not curving in places of the spine that shouldn't have a curve. We are elongating the spine. We often don't do that in modern life. We tend to be quite rounded and hunched. So take a moment sitting nice and tall, really grounding the sit bones into the mat. We'll take a few breaths together. So inhaling through the nose if it's available. Inhale nice and deeply. Feel the belly lift. See if you can send the air down into the belly and the chest. Sometimes we just breathe up in the chest area. Let's try and take some nice deep breaths here. And then exhale, contract the belly slightly, and you'll notice the chest will lower. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Sit a little bit taller. See if the crown of the head can go a little bit higher without the chin hiking up. Relax the jaw. Relax the arms. Relax the fingers. Relax that space between the eyebrows, the third eye space. Feel gratitude for the opportunity to be able to move the body. Take one more inhale. And exhale. Nice. If you've got the eyes closed, you can blink them back open. We'll sit like this for a little bit longer, but if it's starting to get uncomfortable, feel free to change the position. From here, take the hands, start to walk them forward. Notice how you get to a certain point and the butt will start to lift off the floor. Try and don't go to that point, so come back a little bit. Come up onto spider's hands, as I like to call them, so creating little lifts with the fingers, coming onto the fingertips. Now really press the sit bones back through the fingertips. Feel a slight stretch in the forearms, the upper arms and the armpit. And just really try and ground down into the sit bones. From here, walk the hands over to the left. Notice how almost immediately that right butt is going to want to lift up. Try and send it down, or just don't go as far. Walking back to the center and going over to the right. Nice. That left butt wants to join in, just send it back. coming back into the center. From here, take the hands so that you bend the elbows and you bring the hands down. So I'd say just a little bit in front of the knees if the legs are crossed, and then sort of show the elbows up to the sky. From here, lean forward. Inhale. As you exhale, send the body over towards the right hand. Circle it back so you puff up into the shoulders. Send it over to the left. Come around. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Feel that you're just moving here into that elbow joint, a little bit of the wrists, the fingertips, the shoulders, and take it the other way. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Nice. Release it. Give the shoulders a little bit of a shake. Give the hands a little bit of a shake. Cool. From here, uncross the legs and find your way into a tabletop position, all fours. So making sure that the hands are spread, so you're spreading the fingers. Making sure that you grip the fingers into the mat. You want the wrists under the shoulders and you want the knees underneath the hips. Have the knees hip distance. You can tuck the toes if it feels better, but I like to untuck them. You might want to give them a little bit of a pat out if they feel a bit weird having been sat cross-legged. And really engage the belly here. So no just hanging out in the belly and letting the lower back droop. Try and bring it all in. We'll take some cat-cows. So inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, shoulder blades slightly towards each other, shine the chest through the arms, lift the gaze. Cow pose. Exhale, reverse it. Bring chin into chest, tuck the tailbone, puff into the shoulders. Come back through on the inhale for cow pose. Exhale, back to cat, tuck everything under. Inhale, lift the tailbone, drop the belly, come into cow pose. Exhale. Find your catch into chest, puff into the shoulders, push the mat away, push the knees into the mat. One more, inhale. Exhale. Nice, come back to neutral. From here, take the right foot behind you. I'm just going to walk a little bit further forward on my mat. So take the right foot behind you, press the ball of the foot into the mat. Immediately you should feel now that the muscles in the legs are kind of switching on. Really press the heel away from you. Really bring the navel in and up, so engaging the belly. Don't let it all just sag out. You can take some little rocks backwards and forwards here. You don't need to be totally static, it's fine. But keep pushing that heel back. Come to some sort of stillness and really drive the heel back. Imagine the heel's going to get to the floor even though it's probably not. Then switch legs. Bring right leg in, left leg out. Tuck those left toes under. Really push back. Engage the belly. So this is working. You know, we're doing some work here. Lift the gaze, so I'm looking just over Drakey. Really press into the ball of that foot, really press the heel back. You should feel a little bit of heat building in the shoulders here. Really grip the mat with the fingers. Great, bring that left knee back in. Now we'll take it a bit further. So right foot's gonna go all the way back, press in. If you can, come up onto the fingertips of the left hand. Maybe take the hand in front of you. You can use that to push deeper. If you can go a little bit further, then lift that left arm alongside the head, lift the right leg alongside the body. So flexing those right toes, so this is point, this is flex, so the toes are pointing down. Engage the belly, should feel like you're working a little bit here. Look forward. And as you inhale, bend the knee, bend the elbow, draw everything in, curl in, nice and strong. Exhale, send it forward, send it back. Inhale, curl everything in, tuck in, really strong. Exhale, send it back. Let's do one more. Inhale, bring it all in. Exhale, send it back. Nice. Left hand plants, right foot plant, right knee plants. we switch sides. Take the left foot, really press back into the ball of the foot, and then come up onto the spider hands. Maybe walk forward. This may be where you stop today, that's fine. Just keep pressing into the ball of that foot. Imagine the heel is going to come down into the mat. If you want to go a little bit further, really engage the belly here. Lift the right arm alongside the ear, bring the left leg up. So we're looking forward, we're engaging the belly, we're flexing the toes down. So this is point, this is flex. So the toes are facing down to the mat. What that does is square the hip off so that we don't start to hike the hip open. We want both hips to face down to the mat. Inhale, bend the knee, bend the elbow, bring it all in, wobble a bit if you need to, that's fine. And then exhale, straighten it, look forward, flex those toes. Inhale, bring it all in, squeeze it all in as tight as you can. Exhale, look forward. Inhale, bring it all the way in. Maybe the knee touches the nose. And exhale, send it back. I can't count very much when I'm teaching yoga, so we'll do that again. Inhale, bring it all in. Probably did it more than we need to. And exhale, send it back. Take the right hand down. Take the left knee down, tuck the toes under, come back and sit onto the heels. Nice. So you should feel a little bit of something in the shoulders now. We've kind of just started to warm up the body, warm up the wrists. From here, take the hands behind the back, clasp hold of them. Now start to draw the shoulder blades together, send the hands down towards the floor. This is going to retract the shoulder blades. Don't worry if you can't clasp the palms together. If you can, great. If you can't and the palms are open, no worries. The main thing here is to keep engaging that belly. So keep sucking the navel in and up. So no kind of just hanging out. And really drawing the shoulder blades together. Imagine you've got a can between the shoulder blades that you're trying to crush. Keep breathing here. Keep sending the hands down the back. Nice. And release. Give the shoulders a bit of a roll, bit of a shake. Cool. Okay, from here, hands come forward, tuck the toes, find your way back into downward dog. So pressing into the feet to lift the hips. So we're just going to quickly recap on down dog here. So pop a little bend in the knees, turn the heels out slightly. Really shine the sit bones to the ceiling. Engage the belly. The head hangs heavy. Spreading through the fingers, gripping into the mat. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Really try and be broad across the shoulders. What does that mean? It just means try not to be hunched up, but try and open across the shoulders. So send the shoulders away from the ears. Nice. We'll take a Sun Salutation A. So bend the knees, look forward. Inhale, see if you can bring one foot up and then the other in between the hands, big toes are touching. Continue that inhale, lift halfway to a flat back, Urdhva Uttanasana. The weight is across the whole foot, remember, so don't sink back into the heels. Lift the chest, lift the drishti, the gaze. Exhale, pop a bend in the knees. Fingertips either side of the toes and really use the push of the fingers to push the belly into the thighs. Uttanasana. Inhale, come up to stand. The arms come up to a diagonal. The fingertips touch. Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale. The hands come down. Nice. From here, inhale, raise the arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Look up. Try not to take that back bend. You will sometimes be cued in a class to take a bit of a back bend when you're standing, but not in Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, palms through the center, tilt forward, bend the knees, Uttanasana, forward fold. So again, we want the belly on thighs, we want the tailbone pointing up to the sky. Inhale, lift the chest halfway, look forward, fingertips on thighs or shins. You can have the fingertips to the mat, but only if you can keep a nice flat back when you do so. As you exhale, plant the palms. Take the right foot back, take the left foot back, come into plank. So feet are hip distance. Be strong in your plank. From here, drop the knees, untuck the toes. Tuck the tailbone under, shine the chest through, Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lower the body, one long line with the front half of the body. Everything meets the mat together. Pin those elbows in. Inhale, lift to your modified upward dog or cobra, as you may hear this called. Exhale, come back to the mat. Tuck the toes, bend the knees, push back into downward dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. So you know by now what you're looking for. Make sure the heels are slightly turned out. The bend in the knees is just going to help you shine the tailbone up to the sky more and avoid the sort of rounding in the back that we don't want. Nice. Bend the knees, look forward. From here, take your right foot and place it where your right thumb is. So this may not happen in one swift movement, that's fine. Just get there any way you need to. So that might mean bringing both the left knee down and then bringing the right foot forward. So just do whatever you need to get there. You're just learning. And then maybe creep that left knee back a little bit. Untuck the left toes. So I'm up onto my fingertips here and I'm shining the chest through. From here, start to take the hands up and alongside the head. So this is Anjanayasana, low lunge. Look up, have the fingertips touching if that's not too much on the shoulders. If not, then obviously release them. We're really sending the hips down towards the mat. We're not letting the knee track too far forward. So shuffle the foot forward if you need to. Knee wants to come over the ankle. That's just going to protect the ankle. When we are sinking nice and low here, what we're actually doing is giving this left front hip a really nice stretch, front hip muscle. Anjanayasana, low lunge. From here, take the hands down, tuck the toes under at the back. Now, see if you can spring that left foot to meet the right. Don't worry if it takes a couple of goes. Inhale, lift the chest halfway, Urdhva Uttanasana. Exhale, bend the knees, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, release. Let's go again. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, palms come down the center line, fold over, Uttanasana. Bend the knees, lift the tailbone, let the head hang. Inhale, halfway lift, Urdhva Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the palms, right foot goes back, left foot goes back. Find your plank for a moment, tuck the tailbone under, the gaze is forward. Then exhale, drop the knees, untuck the toes, tuck the tailbone under, send the chest through. Bend the elbows back, the arms are brushing the body, everything lowers together, Chaturanga. Then draw the elbows in towards each other, the shoulder blades will slightly come together. As you inhale, lift the chest, roll those shoulders down the back and come into your version of upward dog. Lift the gaze. Exhale, come back to the mat. Tuck the toes, push back into your down, child's pose for a moment, and then push up into down dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Bend the knees, maybe make sure that you're spreading across all 10 fingers. Try and have that middle finger pointing forward, unless it causes you to bend the elbows, and then of course, first finger can go forward, that's fine. From here, bend the knees a bit more, look forward. As you inhale, bring that left foot to replace the left thumb. Shuffle the right foot back a little bit and then lower the right knee. Come up onto the fingertips and untuck the right toes. So straight away here, you might feel quite a deep stretch in the hips, that's fine. It's just whatever you're used to doing. Lifting the chest, up on the fingertips. And as you inhale, see if you can take those arms up and then sink the hips nice and low. Look up. Anjanayasana, low lunge. So again, we're sinking these hips nice and low, but we're not just dumping into the lower back. So we're tucking the tailbone as we drop the hips. This is quite a difficult movement to get your head around initially, but what we don't want is kind of like this just checking out in the back and this big arch. Not for this particular position. Then exhale, the hands come down, they frame the front foot. Tuck the right toes under, lift the back knee off. See if you can bring that right foot up to meet the left, big toes touch. Inhale, lift the chest, hands to shins. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold over. Bend the knees if you need to. We want the belly on the thighs. Inhale, rise up. Virabhadrasana, the fingertips touch at the top. And exhale, Samastiti. Hands come either side of the body. Nice. Close the eyes down for a moment. Take the hands into the center of the chest, into Anjali Mudra. Press the thumbs into the chest bone. Nice. Open the eyes. Let's find our way back to down dog. So we're going to go work through a sun salutation to get there. So hands down by the side, Samastiti. Inhale, raise the arms up to the diagonal, gaze lift the drishti, Virabhadrasana. Exhale, palms come down through the center line, tilt forward, bend the knees, Uttanasana, head hangs heavy, tailbone lifts. Inhale, halfway lift, Uttanasana, really shine the chest forward, gaze forward. Exhale, plant the palms. The right foot goes back, the left foot goes back. Make sure that they're hip distance, turn the heels out slightly, tuck the tailbone under, spread across the fingertips. High plank. Exhale, drop the knees, untuck the toes, tuck the tailbone under, shine the chest through, and then bend those elbows, the elbows pin back, the arms pin in towards the body to Chaturanga. Bend those, bring those elbows in towards each other, press the back of the feet into the mat. Inhale, lift to upward dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, come all the way back to the mat. Tuck the toes, push back into this child's pose for a moment, and then come in to down dog. Nice. From here, see if you can lift this right leg up. So this is 3-leg dog. So don't worry how high it goes. Try and square the hips off. You can point the toes here. Then inhale, as you look forward, bend the knee, bring it into the chest. See if you can slot that right foot in between the hands. Keep high up onto the ball of the back foot. Now inhale, see if you can bring the arms up. We'll come into high lunge this time. So making sure that you've got the feet roughly hip distance. So if that right foot has gone too far over to the left, shuffle it over to the right. You want to have control and stability here, so you need the feet to be hip distance. Lift the arms up, fingertips touch if you can. High lunge. Nice. From here, shuffle the right foot. So shuffle, shuffle. Bring it in line with the back foot. So now you're on a bit of a tightrope and you're thinking, well, she just told me not to do this. That's because we're transitioning. Keeping the arms up. See if you can turn from the hips to bring the hips to face the long side of the mat. So the turning motion, I'm about to fall. The turning motion doesn't come from the upper body and the hips stay the same. The turning motion actually comes from the hips. The upper body just moves with it. Now look down at the feet. You're going to have to rearrange here. So we want the arch of the front, the heel of the front foot to line up with the arch or the toes of the back foot. If you are struggling to get the hips anywhere near square, start to bring the heel closer to the edge of the mat so they line up with the toes. If it's fine, you can stay in the arch. It's all going to be about how much movement you've got in the hips. So really try and square the hips around. Take the arms into a T, bend the right knee. Now you'll see, you need to be able to see that right big toe. So make sure you send in that knee over towards the right. Don't let it kind of scoot in. Make sure you've taken that heel out a little bit into 45 degrees and really try and turn on this muscle here. So the back leg is working. Spread the weight across the back foot, spread the weight across the front foot. So no gripping too much with the toes. Then lift the pubic bone to draw the tailbone down. So we don't want the tailbone to stick out. We want to bring it down. Lift the pubic bone. Suck the belly in, engage. Take the arms out alongside you. Try and take them as high as the shoulders and really reach forward. Don't have the shoulders bunched up too high, send them down. Virabhadrasana B, Warrior Two. Nice. From here, take the right hand, place it on the right side of the mat, near the front foot. Then swing that left arm over. As you do that, turn up onto the ball of the back foot. Now shuffle that right foot over and drop the left knee down, back into a familiar place. Inhale, rise up. We'll come into low lunge, Anjanayasana. Look up, pressing the top of the foot into the mat and the left foot pressing the whole weight into the front foot. Then exhale, drop the hands down. Tuck the back toes under. This time, send that right foot to the back, coming into plank here. Exhaling, drop the knees, untuck the toes, tuck the tailbone, shine the chest through, and lower Chaturanga. Hips and chest meet the mat together. Pin the elbows in. Inhale, find your up dog, lift the gaze, press into the backs of the feet. Exhale, come back to the mat, tuck the toes, push back and through into Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Okay, so a bit of joining the dots there. From here, inhale that left leg nice and high, keep it nice and straight. You can point the toes if you want, try and square the hips off. Then look forward, bend that left knee into the chest, see if you can slot it down in between the hands. Don't worry if you have to help it along. Now really squeeze the thighs together. So even though they're apart, really turn on the thigh muscles. Inhale, raise the arms up, deep bend of that front knee. So a lot of the movements, we're just doing the same thing in different places. So you're kicking the heel back towards the mat, like we were when we were in tabletop, taking one leg back. So you're just sending it back all the time. That's going to really work this right hip muscle here, the front of the hip. Deep bend of that front knee. Inhale, reach the arms up. Make sure that the knee is tracking nice and straightly over the ankle and it's not kind of going over and flaring out. High lunge. From here, look down. Start to shuffle that left foot over towards the right, all the way. Now, turning from the hips, spin onto the ball of that back foot, drop the back heel down 45. Check your feet again. So heel lining up with arch or heel lining up with toes. Deep bend of that front knee, make sure you can see the big toe. From here, really drop the tailbone, lift the pubic bone. So none of this, booty out. Really engage this thigh muscle, lift the pubic bone, drop the tailbone. Take the arms out, really spread through the fingers, look over the middle finger of the front hand. Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana B. Nice. Drop this left hand down to the mat. See if you can swing the right arm up and over. Come up onto the ball of the right foot. Shuffle the left foot over to meet the left hand and drop that right knee down. Untuck the right toes. Come up onto the fingertips. Inhale, send the hips down. Lift the arms, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Anjanayasana, low lunge. Exhale, hands come down. Tuck the toes under, lift the back foot, the back knee off the mat. Now we'll come back to the top of the mat. So try and take a bit of a bounce here, have some buoyancy, and bring the big toes to touch at the top. Then inhale, lift the chest, halfway lift, Urdhva Uttanasana. Exhale, bend the knees, fold over, tailbone to the sky, Uttanasana. Inhale, come all the way up, fingertips touch. Urdhva Hastasana, and exhale, Samastiti. Nice. Take the hands in together, Anjali Mudra. Close down the eyes. Relax the butt. Are you gripping it? Try and relax it. Lower the shoulder blades down. Maybe pop a little smile on your face if that's your deal. I mean, I assume no one tries to be miserable. But yeah, pop a little smile on the face. Sometimes just smiling tells the body everything's cool. And just notice how the heartbeat is now. Now we've taken a few moving sequences, linking postures together. It usually brings the heart rate up a little. Blink the eyes back open. We'll take some balance. So I will face you for this. So bring the feet together. So heels are touching, big toes are touching. Now take the big toes roughly 1 inch apart. Keep the heels touching. So you're now standing like a penguin with a V shape in the feet. From here, see if you can come up onto the ball of the left foot. Now we're coming into Rikshasana, tree pose, which is a lovely balance. I think one of everyone's favorites actually. I'm not sure I know anyone that doesn't like this posture. There's lots of places that we can put the feet here, and it all depends on how you're feeling balance-wise. So you can either just lean that left heel on top of the right ankle. Then take that left knee out towards the left. So we're not standing like this with the knee tracking towards you, but we're coming with the left knee going out to the side. We're keeping the hips nice and square. What we don't want to do is start to turn the hips to send the knee wider, because that's just defeating the object. So keep the hips nice and square, send the knee as wide out as it'll go. This will depend on the range you've got in this hip. Then you can take the hands into the center of the chest, Anjali Mudra, and this is your Rikshasana. If you'd like to try the balance a bit more, you can bring that foot up onto the inside of the calf. If you still would like to challenge the balance, then bring it just above the knee. So try not to put loads of weight onto the knee joint. I mean, you do hear in yoga classes, don't ever put the foot on the knee. I'm not sure anyone's ever broken their knee like that, but let's just not take it there and try. So again, if you've taken the foot a little bit higher, you can bring it nice and high up to the inside groin. But make sure, imagine that you're wearing a belt and you want that belt to stay nice and neutral. So we're looking for neutrality in the hips. So what we don't want is for like one hip to start to sink and one hip to rise. So keep it nice and neutral. To do that, really press this left foot into the right thigh and press back on it with the right thigh. Also, really press the big toe, the right big toe into the mat. That's going to give you some stability. Now take the hands back into Anjali Mudra. Keep sending that left knee open whilst keeping the hips nice and square. Rikshasana, tree pose. You can take the arms out to the side. You can spread your branches of your tree. You can take the branches up and have the hands meet at the top. This might feel good. If you really want to challenge yourself, you can just lift the gaze. Straight away you might start to wobble, that's fine. Then take the hands back through the center line. Release the foot. Nice. So set yourself up again for the other side. And don't worry if it went really well on one side and not on the other side. That's just the imbalance that we have within the body. We're not symmetrical. So roughly 1 inch between the toes, the heels are touching. Choose your position. So you might be popping the heel above the ankle and leaving the toes on the mat. That's fine. Just keep sending right knee over to the right. Keep the hips nice and square. You might be coming onto the calf. You might be using the hand just to encourage the foot all the way up to the inside thigh. Don't go too far as to hike up the hip. So only go as far as you can to keep these hips nice and level. Press that foot into the thigh, press the thigh back into the foot. The two forces working together will suction in and keep you nice and sturdy. Press that left big toe into the mat. Find Anjali Mudra, so palms together. Drop the shoulder blades down. Try not to lean back, try and stand nice and square. Keep sending the right knee over to the right. Keep standing with the hips facing forward. Nice. Rikshasana. Take the hands out, extend your branches. You can have the palms up, asking the universe for all the good stuff, whatever that is that you're after. For me, it's Wales to win the Grand Slam. And then lift the arms up. If you want to go a little bit further, the fingertips are going to touch. And you can challenge the balance by lifting the drishti, lifting the yogi gaze. Then palms together, bring them back down the center line, take a moment, and then release that foot. Nice. Good job. Don't worry if you wobble. Don't worry if you need a wall to begin with. You might, come to the wall and do that. That's fine. You just keep working on wherever you are. It's a journey and you are on the journey now. So back to the top of the mat. Big toes are touching. 1 inch gap between the heels. Inhale, raise those arms up. Exhale, come down, forward fold. Uttanasana, bend to the knees, head hangs heavy. Inhale, lift the chest halfway, fingertips onto shins. Exhale, hands drop. Right foot to the back, left foot to the back. Nice. Drop the knees, untuck the toes, tuck the tailbone, shine the chest through. Bend the elbows back, arms along the side of the body. Chaturanga. Squeeze the elbows in. Inhale, upward dog. Drop the shoulder blades down the back. Lift the gaze. Exhale, all the way. Tuck the toes under. Push back this time. Find your Balasana, child's pose. So untucking the toes, sending the butt back towards the heels, dropping the head to the mat. Nice. You can take the arms alongside the legs and just have the palms facing upwards if that feels nice. Or you can keep the hands out in front of you. Whatever your jam is today, you go with that. Notice any sensations coming up in the body. Maybe you were wobbling, or maybe the transitions when we were going from high lunge to warrior two, you were a bit like, I have no idea what's going on. It's all done now, so just let it settle. And just focus on the breath. Taking some really lovely long inhales through the nose and try and match the exhales through the nose. As you inhale, feel that belly get bigger, pushing against the thighs. And as you exhale, see if you can lower, move into that space. Imagine that with every inhale, you create space. With every exhale, you sink into that space deeper. Nice. From here, come all the way back up onto the heels. You can tuck the toes under again. Just make sure you've got all 10 toes tucked. So sometimes the baby toe just kind of sticks out and does what it wants. Try and bring it in. Nice. Let's take that shoulder retraction again that we did at the beginning of the class. So take the hands behind the back, clasping the hands together. So whichever way you instinctively clasp your thumbs, so I always take left thumb over right, swap the clasp. So then that means that all the fingers swap. So we're always looking for balance in yoga, and if you're always taking a posture one way, then you're going to be working one side of the body a bit more than the other, or stretching one side more than the other. So try and always switch. So switching that clasp. Send the hands down the back, engage the belly, really bring those shoulder blades towards each other. Nice shoulder retraction here. We're creating loads of width across the collarbone. Keep sending the hands down towards the butt, or down towards the mat if they've gone beyond the butt. Visualize that can again. So I've popped that can in between the shoulder blades. Really try and squeeze it, crush it. Nice. Release. Release the hands. Release the shoulders. Give them a little bit of a shake out. Cool. Then come onto the butt, so swing the legs out one side or the other, it doesn't really matter. And then find your legs out in front of you. So, Dandasana, staff pose. Bit of a staple for me in my yoga classes and my own practice. So, legs together, flex the feet. So this is point, this is flex. Really try and flex all of the toes back towards the shins. So not just the big toes, but all of the toes. So the whole foot's coming back. Lower the shoulder blades down the back and just let the fingertips go either side of the hips. The gaze is just over the big toes. And that's just encouraging us to have this gorgeous, lovely length throughout the whole of our spine, from the base of the skull all the way down to the coccyx. Sit nice and tall here, remembering that if you are rounding, because, you know, there might be some tightness and you're struggling to sit upright, if you're rounding, pop a bend in the knees. We don't want rounding into the back. We want to be sitting really nice and tall here. Then inhale, raise the arms up, all the way up, look up. Exhale, tilting forward. So as I tilt forward, my sit bones are going to start to scoot back. So we've got this pelvic tilt here. Go as far as you can. Big yogi toe lock. So first two fingers wrap around the big toes. Press the thumbs into the toes. From here, inhale, really create length in the spine. So if you've done this to get here, then bend your knees. Inhale, lift the chest, long into the spine. Exhale, bend the elbows, take the belly so it's touching the thighs. So we want the lowest rib and the belly to be on the thighs if possible. So bend the knees to do so, that's fine. Maybe once you get there, you can start to go a little bit deeper. Lift those elbows up, drop the shoulders down. I know there's a lot of instruction. Paschimottanasana. Gaze is just above the thumbs and the big toes. So really engage biceps, triceps here. So you should be really working to send the chest along the legs. So we're not just using the arms for show. The arms are there to pull us along. Take a deep inhale. Find that space. As you exhale, go into the space. One more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straighten the arms, lift the feet up if you can, and then release on the exhale. Nice, good job, yogi. From here, scoot the butt forward a bit. Bend the knees, drop the feet to the mat. Take the hands alongside the body and slowly find your way all the way down to the mat. Skull and shoulder blades hit the mat together. Nice. From here, bring the heels in towards each other. Bring the heels in towards the butt. So you can just tickle the backs of the heels with the fingers. Have the hands alongside the body. Think about this natural curve we've got in our lower spine. As you inhale, flatten that curve off, so you're really pressing into the mat. And as you exhale, lift up. Nice buoyancy in the hips. Bringing the hips up towards the ceiling. Really press through the whole feet. Send the knees forward. And if you can, clasp the hands and start to wriggle the shoulders under you. So that shoulder retraction again that we've worked on a little bit today. And then use the press of the baby fingers into the mat to just send the hips a bit higher. Try and relax the glutes. Try not to squeeze the butt too much. We want to take the work into the hamstrings. This is your modified Setu Bandhasana, or bridge as you'll hear it called. Keep lifting up. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Uncurl the hands if they were under you. And then slowly, the shoulder blades are already connected, but just start to lower. Try and get each vertebrae one at a time. You're not going to be able to do that because there's so many of them, but you know, thoracic spine through the lumbar and then the sacrum, hips drop. Nice, cool. Take the feet as wide as the mat and just windscreen wiper the legs in. So both knees drop one way, both knees drop the other way. Nice. We'll take a nice supine twist here, so a twist on our backs. So send both legs out in front of you and then bring the right knee in. Hug it in nice and tight. Flex that left foot. You can also flex the right foot as well, so the toes are coming back towards the shin. Ground the shoulders into the mat. Really squeeze the knee in here. Then take that left hand on the outside, so this side of the right knee, and then take the right hand down out into a T. Then use the left hand to roll onto the side of the hip and see if you can just drop this right knee over somewhere towards the left. Don't worry if it doesn't connect to the earth, just use the hands to keep it there. And if you can, send your gaze over to your right hand. The key here is grounding the shoulders into the mat, so really push them in. We're twisting from the upper back, the thoracic spine. This is a lovely way to finish the practice, wringing everything out. I heard one teacher, friend of mine, in one class say, imagine that the spine is like this dirty cloth that you've used to clean the kitchen, and it's really wet, and then you wring it under the tap, and then you start to wring it by twisting it, and all the dirt comes out. I love that. I love that metaphor. I think that's a great way to describe what happens when we have these spinal twists. They're really detoxing for the body. Then bring that right knee back in, hug it in for a little moment, and then switch it up. Take that right foot down, press the right leg into the mat, flex the right toes, and see if you can bring this left knee into the chest. Flex the left toes as well. If you want to, that's just going to engage the foot. Really squeeze it in and take the right hand on the outside of the left knee. Left hand is going to come out to a T, and then just gently rolling over onto the hip. Oh, I've got my blocks there. And then let that right foot meet the mat, meet the floor, and really start to spread the fingers and press the shoulders into the mat. So left shoulder blade into the mat. So it might be here. Try and just send it down. If that means that this knee can't go as far, don't worry. We want to take the twist in the upper back. Keep looking over the left hand if it feels good. Visualize your spine being that dirty cloth that just is now being wrung out. When we come back to the center, the spine will be lovely and clean again, nice and light again, ready to take on the world. Keep grounding the shoulders into the mat. Take a nice inhale. Bring that knee back in and exhale. Bring both knees in. Start to take some circles. So send the knees out away from each other. Send them both forward, together, and back in towards. So they're in towards the chest together. They open, they go forward apart, they come together, they come back in. So really take this moment to just visualize. I like to think of the top of the femur bone in the hip socket, just rolling around. And just imagine it's like I'm just lubricating that joint. I'm just like oiling up the engine. Take it the other way. Should feel nice. And then hug everything in. Try and lift the head up so the shoulders come off the mat. Really squeeze everything in as tightly as you can. In Wales, we'd say give yourself a big catch. And then release the shoulder blades down, release the legs. So right leg out to the right corner of the mat, left leg to the left corner of the mat. Ground the shoulder blades in, create width across the collarbone. Let the hands go alongside you, palms up to the sky. Skull goes in heavy to the mat, chin slightly tucks. Ankles draw out. And let the breath now go into autopilot. So we've been guiding our breath a lot, breath with movement. Now we're just going to let it do what it wants. Have a moment of gratitude that you tried something new today. We don't always do that. We sometimes get like stuck in a rut, all of us. But it's great to just try something new, and it's great to move the body in ways that are going to explore it, strengthen it. And that's what we want from yoga. We want to give the mind a rest from the busyness while we explore the body. Hopefully you've done a little bit of that today. Let the energy that you've used, that you've created, let it all now sink into you. Feel heavy on the mat. Feel gravity's pull. And feel the mat just doing its job, protecting you, holding you up, supported by the earth. And melt into your Shavasana, the corpse pose. Bring a little bit of consciousness back into the limbs now, into the body, the extremities. Start to wiggle the toes. Start to wriggle the fingers, the wrists. Maybe turning the legs so that the ankles turn in and out a few times. Take the head over to the right. Gently rolling in the skull, take it back over to the left. Take the arms up and over the head. Bring the feet together, point the toes, stretch the fingers away, stretch the toes away. Imagine you're adding inches onto your length. Inhale. Exhale, bring the knees in towards the chest. Cradle them in, wrap the arms around them, lift the head up towards the knees if that feels good, and take some rocks from side to side. If you can, rock all the way over onto the right side, make a little pillow with the hands, head goes onto the hands, so you're sitting in a fetal position. Slowly, if you can keep the eyes shut, do slowly walk your way back up into a seated position. It doesn't have to be cross-legged. It just needs to feel good for you. Bring the hands together into Anjali Mudra, palms touch, into the center of the chest. Lower the shoulders down the back. Just take a nice inhale together. Inhaling through the nose. Fill everything up. Open the mouth and exhale it all out. Blink the eyes back open. Come back into your space. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed the class, and I'll see you back here soon. Namaste.